Okay, Trojans, we're ready now for our second flipped classroom lesson. Uh, this evening we're going to be talking about geometry, and the lesson is called Lines, Segments, and Angles. Now, as you look behind me here, you can see lines. I can see them here on my blinds, and then you can see what we're going to learn about intersecting lines. So when I'm done here with this lesson, what I'd like you to do before you get to class and do your homework on this geometry lesson, I would like all you Trojans to go look around the room, look around your house, your apartment, look for some of these things that I'm talking about. You can take pictures of them, you can bring things in, and bring it and share it with the class. Okay. First off, with lines, segments, and angles here, we have what we call a point. All right. So a point here has an exact position. It's an exact location. When we find where something is, it marks a spot. That is called a point. And then down below here you see a line. A line goes endless in both directions. And that's why you have an arrow on both sides there. And then we have a line segment. A line segment means like a portion or a part of a line. So from this point to this point, this is a line segment. And then down here we have a ray. You see the difference between a line segment, and a ray. The ray has a starting point, and then the ray goes endlessly in one direction and doesn't stop. So the difference between that and a line segment is a segment has a starting and an ending point. The ray has one starting point and goes on endlessly on the other side. Okay, so let's talk about different lines here. These are called parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that run the same direction and they never cross. For example, if you look out of your apartment or your house right now, you might see some streets. And let's call this one, let's call this 15th Street and 16th Street. What do you notice about 15th Street and 16th Street in San Pedro? They're called parallel lines because they don't cross. They run the same direction. Like you couldn't live on the corner of 15th and 16th Street because they both run the same way. And that's what we call parallel lines. Okay. Another type of lines that cross are called intersecting lines. When you say intersecting lines, they're called intersecting lines. What do you notice that's different about them besides parallel lines? Now, what are intersecting lines? That's right, the intersecting lines cross. And the point that they cross, does anyone know what that's called? They cross at the intersection. So let's say that you're walking down 15th Street and you're going to make a right on Mesa Street and come up Mesa Street. Mesa, 15th Street, and 16th Street cross. And they cross at the intersection. And it's usually a four-way stop. And that's usually where you would have, especially next to a school, you'd either have a signal, and if it's not a signal, like 15th and Mesa doesn't have a signal, what you will have instead is you'll have a crossing guard there, right at the intersection. And it's called the intersection because they are intersecting lines. Okay. Now, We also have angles. And here we have a right angle. A right angle has two rays and one end point. And if you form an L with your fingers there, that corner of the angle, that's what we call it, a right angle. If we talk about it in other lessons, we're going to talk about degrees. This would be 90 degrees. And there are 4 right angles to a circle. All right. An acute angle. An acute angle is less than a right angle, less than 90 degrees. We also have larger than a right angle, which is called an obtuse angle. Even the sound of that word obtuse sounds big, large. And then acute, it's like a little cute angle. So that's why it's less than a right angle, and that's how you could remember these terms. Where the rays form the point there, their end point, is called the vertex. So, boys and girls, let's recap here. We have our point, we have the line, and the line goes on endlessly in both directions. We have the line segment, which is a part of a line that has a beginning point and an end point. And then we have a ray. We learned about 3 different angles. And we learned about intersecting lines and parallel lines that run the same direction, such as 15th and 16th Street. What I'd like you to do is when you go out in your community and you go for walks, just look for some of these. Look for lines, look for angles. Look for acute angles. Look at a clock sometime. Look at obtuse angles. Look at right angles. And then when you come in the class, I'd like you to either bring some items with you that you found different things, points, lines, angles. You can take pictures. And then bring them to class. You'll do your homework in class and we'll do some follow-up activities. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you in class in the morning. Fight on, Trojans.